Hey folks, it's me again. Thought I'd talk about another subject today. I apologize, I look like I just rolled out of bed. It's a little chilly in my house today, so I had my hoodie on. But I wanted to talk about Todd Standing a little bit and what he's been doing with Jeff Meldrum and Dr. Bindernagel, and just talk about my personal opinion about it. I don't really mean to offend him, but it's just how he comes across to me and based on what I've seen from his stuff. Um, so what I find, I'm going to start with what I find interesting is some of his video evidence that he's kind of released, just those short clips, especially of that male Sasquatch. Um, I personally feel that that is real video. And I'm going to explain why. There's been a few different people debunking it, and then other people basically showing that it's real. And the people debunking it basically stretch his face in Photoshop and match it with the face of the Sasquatch to make it seem like he was just wearing makeup. Whereas if you actually do physical measurements, both of the needles of the tree that it's right next to, the needles of spruce trees are pretty constant. I think they're around an inch or so, and you can use them for measuring. There's a video on that, and it shows how big this thing's head is. It's gigantic. And there's another video too that Utah Sasquatch does, where basically he traces out his eyeballs in his head, and then shows basically that the Sasquatch's eyes are much further apart than his are. And also he does another video a little bit, but that's the best one. And basically, so that kind of convinced me that it's probably a real Sasquatch video. The thing I find interesting is there's clearly more video to that, and I don't understand why he didn't release all of it, because if you don't release all of it, it leaves a lot of you can easily be a skeptic about it and be like, why isn't there no more video if he's just showing the head, he's not showing the body, etc., etc. He has talked about how when he filmed these, he filmed it at like 30 or 50 times zoom with his camera. So he's very far away, so it's entirely possible the body was obscured by vegetation. But he hasn't really talked about that as far as I'm aware. I don't listen to his podcast because you have to pay for them. I'm not going to pay for that. No offense. But the thing I also find convincing is some widely respected and renowned basically doctors that are trying to do research on Sasquatch and prove that they're real have been going out with him and seem to be continually going out with him as well. So he must be finding something. Either that or he's an expert hoaxer, which I doubt based on watching him talk and stuff. It doesn't seem like he's capable of that. No offense if you're watching this. So I guess what I'm saying is, based on his male Sasquatch video and kind of what Jeff Meldrum and Dr. Bindernagel have been talking about, he seems somewhat legit. I think he does exacerbate some things a lot to make it seem more interesting, and I think he's kind of a sketchy dude. Like, he's kind of borderline con artist-y, the way he sells his videos and stuff. And I understand that funds the research and everything, but I mean, if you're gonna do that, do a good job of it, and don't be like really sketchy about it. Be professional about it. And I want to talk about Dr. Bindernagel and Dr. Jeff Meldrum. If you haven't heard of them, you probably have if you're into Sasquatch stuff. But Dr. Bindernagel is a Canadian biologist, lives on Vancouver Island. He's been researching Sasquatch his whole life, pretty much. And he kind of, it basically, more or less from what I understand, kind of ruined his career because he was so interested in it and he wanted to research it that he lost all credibility in the scientific community for it. And Dr. Jeff Meldrum, I don't think he's lost his credibility in the scientific community, but it's obviously a taboo subject and people tend to avoid being affiliated with you when, you're associated with a subject that people akin or say it is akin to searching for unicorns and stuff like that. So, but he wrote an amazing book, Sasquatch Legend Meets Science. It's been out for a long time. If you're a skeptic or you're not sure, read that book. It's a little dry because it is very scientific. It's kind of like a scientific paper blended with a book. So he uses a lot of evidence to support his ideas and stuff like that. And he basically just on the tracks alone, because he's an expert in primate locomotion, he basically proves Sasquatch is real just based on the tracks, which I found very impressive. If you want the quick and dirty of it and you don't want to read the book, there's some much more interesting stuff in the book, but basically what convinced me was the mid-tarsal break that is common in primates that people didn't know about in the 60s when, like the 50s and 60s when there were Sasquatch tracks being casted, and also the Patterson-Gimlin tracks were casted. So those show a mid-tarsal break, and also they show basically like the equivalent of a foot fingerprint on them. I forget what it's called. Dermal ridges. It shows dermal ridges on the in the tracks, which people would never have thought to fake back then. Honestly, if you watch any Hollywood movies from back then too, the quality of the costumes are terrible, and that's Hollywood grade costumes. The Patterson-Gimlin Sasquatch is, you can just tell from watching the video, it's a real animal. So a little off track, but we'll go back to Todd Standing. His evidence he's come out with has been basically one video of, it's basically dusk and something stands up on a ridge above him, like a cliff, and you can't really tell what it is. He claims it's Sasquatch. It could have been a bear, honestly. Like, you can't really tell what it is. He's got another video where an alleged Sasquatch kind of jumps across a creek and then quickly walks through the forest adjacent to him. That one's also very difficult to tell if it's real or not. If it is real, whoever did that jumping around was pretty agile. Or sorry, if it isn't real, whoever did that jumping around was very agile. And then he's got those kind of the face footage of the male and female. The male it's pretty convincing to me. The female seems almost too weird looking, but I want to stay open-minded about it. Obviously it's a different species and they're going to look different. And don't be tricked by the full face picture of the female. He never got a full face shot of the female. That's photoshopped. The actual video and photo, well, I guess the photo was taken from the video, but the actual video of it, there's a big branch that blocks its right eye out. It kind of comes across like this and blocks it half of its face essentially. So you can't really tell what the face actually looks like, but the eyes are really weird. They're kind of like, instead of like us where your brow kind of comes in and down and your cheek goes up and then back down into your eye socket, it seemed to be very level, which I found interesting. But that's kind of my opinion on Todd Standing stuff. I won't go too much more into it, but he, based on his videos, like, he does go way back into the boonies near Nordegg and stuff to go look for these things. So it's pretty hard to rag on someone that actually gets out there and does research. Most people don't even do that. They're just kind of armchair researchers, and they kind of sit there and watch the videos and the recordings, and they critique them based on what they think, but they have no real experience in the bush at all. So I got to commend Todd Standing for that. So he actually goes back in the bush and is actually like hardcore bushman, which is why in this past summer, he was looking for people to come with him to help him with his research. And he's kind of egotistical, and I thought about it because actually I wasn't sure if I was going to have the spare time for it, but I thought I might, and so I contacted him. And I said, like, look, I have tons of bush experience and all this stuff, and he contacted me back and sent me this thing to reply to if I was serious about it. And honestly, I wasn't serious about it because I didn't know if I was going to have the time to get away for like a week of Sasquatch research. And so I turned it down, but now I kind of regret it because would have told me at least one thing, which is whether Todd Standing's legit or not. Because you can, if you actually go out with him, you're going to be able to tell. And then number two, if he is legit, I might have had some Sasquatch activity or something, which would have been very interesting. Probably very scary, but very interesting. So, if he does it another year, I'm going to try to contact him. I'll probably contact him this winter again and just say, like, if he's going out, just let me know and I'll see if I can come out with him. But I would like to do that and then kind of report back on what I think of him. But based on his interviews and the way he talks on his YouTube channel and stuff, I mean, he's a little egotistical. But, I mean, sometimes you have to be when you're doing something like that. Otherwise, all the kind of negative energy gets to you. So, but I do think he is legit, basically. So, there's my ramble for the week. Thanks for watching. If you are watching, I know there's like two people that watch my videos, but thanks for watching, guys. And we'll see you in the future. Maybe this summer we'll actually get out. Maybe this winter we'll get out and find some stuff. So I'll bring you guys along for that. Thanks for watching.